Okay, hi guys. Hi
Okay.
everybody.
So I'm guessing now I can stop talking about whether or not it's socially acceptable for me to date Oscar.
Yes.
Okay. I'll do that.
Hi guys. Can you guys hear us okay? Are we good?
I just think that once you're an immortal, it stops mattering, you know? Like, he's been around for thousands of years. Everyone's a baby to him.
Oh boy.
You know, I'm not more of a baby, realistically.
So, something weird is happening. So, Hunter's voice is not being picked up by the microphone today. And we don't know why.
Your microphone's transphobic.
Because you guys can hear me, right? But like a lot of what Hunter just said, it just got cut off for like no particular reason. Yeah, I'm hearing it like in the stream.
That's so upsetting.
Feedback. So Hunter, you're just gonna have to use your outdoor voice and like talk.
Can I?
You know.
Okay, no, it's on a delay, so I can't hear it right away. Oh my god, it is.
Yeah,
that's so upsetting. Okay.
So we don't know what's happening, so just to let you guys know, that's like the thing.
I'm sorry, this might sound awful.
I mean, it's not that it sounds awful, it's just that like sometimes they can't hear you. You know? I don't know why. True. I can't figure it out because like at first I thought that Arnold touched something, but then I realized that doesn't really make any sense because
does Arnold just find my voice annoying and try to have little,
like, it's Hunter's voice and not mine, so I don't actually understand what the problem is, and we've tried everything already, so
is it because
I don't know. See, they definitely didn't hear that at all.
Thank you for person who complimented me in the chat.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what's
going to talk about that.
Can I learn sign language?
What do you mean for the stream?
Yes, for the stream.
Why don't you just talk louder, Hunter?
I think I'm talking louder.
I mean, now it's probably fine.
Okay.
But yeah, okay.
Listen, we don't all have fucking theater training, Cal. We don't all project from the diaphragm.
I'm just saying, there's a slight fade out even when Cal talks, but it's not as bad. Yeah, and so like...
dear. Maybe it's because my voice is deeper?
Yeah, I don't know.
It might be because my voice... Didn't something like this happen earlier? Like
it did happen earlier.
Because my voice was deeper?
I don't know, but yeah, and so...
Like, I think that leads credence to my issue that
maybe
your microphone's transphobic.
Like I said, like I thought maybe Arnold touched something, but like if he did, I can't find it. I know when I look towards my computer it probably does it, but like I don't know. We can't find the reason.
So y'all are just gonna have to suffer through our poor audio quality.
I mean, it's not even poor audio quality. They just literally can't hear you. You know what I mean? They literally can't hear us, right? The audio quality's fine when they can hear us, but yeah, I don't know what he did, guys. I don't know.
I feel like a lot of things can be forgiven in online video.
Yeah.
I feel like audio quality is the thing where when it's bad, it's just like, maybe it's just me, but it's like nails on a chalkboard awful.
Yeah, I know. But like, so Arnold said like for some reason when he was streaming, people could hear the fan when he wasn't talking, but couldn't hear it when he was talking.
I could have sworn we had a problem like that earlier this year.
I don't know. And so, yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you for the hair dye compliment. But yeah, as long as you guys can hear us to a socially, like,
acceptable extent,
I guess we'll just, you know, we'll
My favorite bad audio thing on YouTube is I listen to a lot of ASMR.
Yeah.
And I love when someone's brand new with it and they just, like, they buy a Yeti and they just get right up close to it and you hear the pop every time.
I mean, this would be good with ASMR, probably.
I think you should start an ASMR channel. I think you would be good at it.
You guys heard it here first. Okay, so before we get into the discussion, this may be important. Will you and Hunter's reactions be up on Patreon? Yes, but we literally just did them an hour ago, so, like, they're not up yet.
Might be a minute.
Like, you know what I mean? I have to edit them, and then I have to upload them, so it'll be, like, tonight, or, like, possibly tomorrow, but, like, they'll be up, don't worry. Usually we do them before we do the live streams, but because there were 3, like, each one takes a half an hour. Like, Hunter would be here until, like, 6 o'clock just waiting to do the discussion, so we decided to do the discussion first. So don't worry, it'll be up on Patreon. The second thing is we changed a couple things. I say we as if Hunter had any say in this. Hunter has no idea. Okay, so basically what I did was...
It was all my idea. She's full of shit.
If you are a YouTube member, and you're watching the IQ reactions, stop. You have to be a patron. I didn't mean to say it like that, but you know what I mean? I'm just kidding. But in seriousness, basically what I did was, like, Patreon rewards are now all on Patreon. If you were a YouTube member, I was basically including like Patreon rewards in the YouTube membership thing. We can't do that anymore. Like, it's not that we can't, but it's just like, it's very confusing for people to hear like, okay, so for the Patreon rewards, you could be a patron or you could be a YouTube member. Like, it didn't make any fucking sense anymore. So I changed it. So now, if you are pledged currently, like, as a YouTube member for IQ reactions starting in September, and possibly the ones that are today, because now it's, like, YouTube, like, I publish the new rewards instead of the old ones, so I think that, like, I don't know. Anyway, so, you have to be a patron now. You cannot be a YouTube member. But the other reason why I did this is because Hunter and I are going to start live streaming more, which means the YouTube members will have live stream specific perks. And that's how we're sort of, like, organizing or, like, doing things, basically.
I like how you specified that. I didn't tell Hunter any of this. Anyways, me and Hunter are going to be live streaming.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to be streaming more. So it just made sense because now, like, the YouTube membership is for the live streams that we're doing on YouTube, not for the reactions that we post on Patreon. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't make any sense. Now everything makes a lot more sense to me. So we changed that. That's the first thing, is that, like, now, if you're a YouTube member, there are YouTube member-specific perks which have stuff to do with, like, live streaming, and stuff like that. Possibly exclusive members-only live streams, if there are enough of you. If there's, like, one of you, probably not. But if there are, like, a couple people, you know what I mean? If we can party with the members, then we'll have a member-exclusive live stream. Yes. I don't know, karaoke, drinking game situation. I don't know. Whatever is in YouTube TOS. Allowed. Okay. But yeah. Anyway, I don't think drinking game is allowed.
I don't know if drinking game. I mean, I've seen people do videos that involve drinking.
Right. I don't know what's allowed, but
okay. Well, I mean,
members only Q&A stuff like that.
Nothing's more fun than sober karaoke.
Anyway, so that's the first thing. Hold on, I had 3 things. The YouTube membership has new perks, and the Patreon membership changed. That was 1. Okay. 2. Do you remember video tickets, guys? Does anybody remember?
No, not again.
Stop! Hold on.
I can't do another Jean. You don't understand. I can't do those Jean. I can't do those Jean theories again. Man, I won't go back. I won't go back.
So, if you guys don't remember, or maybe you do remember the 13 people that are here right now and are listening to the pre-show before we get into the episode review, okay? So we used to do video tickets, which, if you guys don't know, used to be attached to Patreon. And it was basically
dark times.
Paying Hunter and I like $3 an hour to make whatever video you wanted.
I never saw any of that money. I suffered for nothing.
It was incredibly cheap, sort of exploitative, and all around not.
And it hurt me. It hurt me.
And so we stopped doing it a couple of years ago.
Are those videos available to watch online anymore?
Probably. I don't know.
Oh, God. I really am afraid about those.
Anyway, so that being said, the video tickets were not good. However, what I have done is that we are now taking video commissions on Ko-fi for a price that actually makes sense and is not $3 an hour. So anyway, that in mind, if you now want us to read your theory or something, or react to something that you like, you can look at the Ko-fi commissions. It's okay.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it's gonna be okay. Everyone says it's gonna be okay, but it's never okay.
I calculated it this time. Anyway, and so yeah, that's
You can't do math.
That's the second thing. I have it at like $20 an hour. I think that that's pretty good. And there's a Hunter bonus. So if you want Hunter in the video, it's $40 for both of us. But like, that's like if it was an hour, if you wanted us to watch a movie or something. If it's just a theory video, like that's calculated differently. But like there are, you know what I mean? There's calculations, okay? It makes a lot of sense. And so, you know, I think $20 an hour is pretty good if you want me to react to something that you like or whatever. You know, that's like a movie ticket, and you don't even need to buy the movie. I'm just reacting to the movie. You probably have it already if you like it that much. Anyway, and so, yeah, so that's the second thing, is that there are commissions open on Ko-fi. I'm probably not selling it very well right now, but it's fun. People did commission fun things once. They did. Somebody commissioned once the entire season of Spice and Wolf for me to react to. That was great. I loved that.
That was great. but I had already watched Spice and Wolf.
And so you weren't there.
So I wasn't there. You know what I was there for?
Food Wars.
Food War. I mean, I like Food Wars, but like Mega Shadow Dragon theories.
Yeah, I know.
They haunt my. Occasionally, I go on Twitter and I look at him, and he's still a nut job.
Well, the other thing with the commissions is they're by inquiry, so you have to inquire and present your idea to me first, and then we will decide to take it or not. So if you send me an email and you're like, okay, Cal, I want you to react to Arcane, or whatever, like, that will probably get through. If you want us to talk about why Jean is, should get a hair over,
gonna defeat Cinder after getting his hair,
and all of the,
and gonna date Weiss and RWBY, and he has such a huge penis, and everyone loves him.
That's a different story, right? So,
and his name's Steven. I mean Jean. His name's Jean.
Exactly. So now we're getting
to you wrote the big thing, and it's just ginormous block of unparagraphed text with dozens of grammatical.
Does anybody remember this? Somebody must remember. You guys remember, right? Somebody must. Maybe they're not here right now in the stream, but somebody must remember this. So yeah, the Ko-fi thing, is it coffee or Ko-fi?
Ko-fi.
I think it's Ko-fi, right?
It's Ko-fi.
The Ko-fi thing makes sense. And is not attached to Patreon either. There are no video tickets. They're just commissions. So if you guys want to take a look at that, go ahead and stuff. And so yeah, that's the second thing. The third thing is that Fox and Neo Week happened. It was great, and we're gonna do a live stream about it. Probably this weekend before I go back to school. Probably on Saturday, as long as Hunter is free. So be on the lookout for that. But that's it. That is the pre-show Calxiyn pre-show stuff. And now we're gonna get into the actual episode. And this also served as an audio test. So if you guys still couldn't hear me and Hunter, let us know before we start talking about the episode. Okay?
I would have honestly. I think that the money
What?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
I think you should just start an ASMR channel. I think the money will be green.
Oh my god.
Just promise me.
What if that's part of the live stream content that we talked about in the video membership, YouTube membership?
Well, I feel strong. Here's the thing. I would micromanage you if you became an ASMR channel.
Oh my god.
I would be your who's a famous manager? I would be like your like
the Kardashian mom?
Yes, I'll be your Kris Jenner.
Okay.
And I will make sure that you are a star with that ASMR channel.
Okay. I don't know.
I think I could do that for you.
People don't like my voice. Maybe they like it when I talk low, but they don't like it when I'm this loud.
I think you have a nice voice.
But anyway, so let's talk about this episode, okay? So the way Hunter did this or me and Hunter did this, is that we've missed 3 episodes, okay? So, we're kind of blitzing through 7. There's a bit more of 8, but we're really just focusing on 9 here. Key points of 7.
7 was mostly just, scenery.
They were running around.
Feelings.
There was trains.
Vibes.
Vibes. Exactly.
It was
vibes.
How wonderful and magical. And the episode's
And then we're going to talk about the discourse at the very end, because we know that you guys have to stay until the end of the live stream. Okay?
It's like why they put BTS at the end of award shows.
I know, Hunter, you said that last time.
I made that joke?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
You know what I was thinking of? What? Tell me if you guys like this idea, but we were going to, I was going to make we were going to stream the cult game together tomorrow, possibly. I'm not sure if tomorrow, but someday.
Some point.
So I was thinking, I'm going to write down a list of jokes that I think Hunter will make, tell them to the audience, but not tell Hunter. And that would be kind of a fun side plot for our live stream. Let's see if Hunter is actually as predictable as I think.
Rude.
Yeah. What about John with the guys?
Oh, and you're so fucking spontaneous. I wonder if Cal's gonna make a Kingdom Hearts reference. I wonder if Cal's gonna make a HoloLive reference. Damn. I wonder if Cal is only reference she has to pop culture is fucking Disney. So that when they made a tweet about the boys being back in town, you were like, oh, from High School Musical. I'm like, no, the very popular song from the 70s that you had never heard of. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm in a real emotional place right now.
If it's a discourse I'm thinking of, there's tons of discourse, okay? We'll find it, all right? Don't worry. Why is it always John with the girls? What about John with the guys? So the funny thing about this is that this was totally unexpected, but I was looking through the Twisted Wonderland tag on AO3, and I found this John fanfic where it was John fucking every guy from Twisted Wonderland, and I thought it was just so I don't know.
Did you
It was
read it?
No, it was so original. Like I'd never seen that before. Like what a niche. Like Jean with a bunch of twisted wonderland. Why don't you just make OCs at that point? Like clearly you're kind of using Jean as a self-insert. You know what I mean? Like, do you actually want Jean and Leona, or do you just want like a self-insert?
Maybe
you know
maybe someone's just like, of all the like anime twinks, Jean is my favorite.
Maybe
I want him
know.
to be tossed around like a rag doll at a dog park.
I'm just like at that
various
point,
other
shouldn't you make
fictional
an OC?
universes.
Like, you know what? Like I could ship. I'm trying to think of like what would be a good twist.
I mean, the classic like when people wanted Jack Frost.
Yeah,
from that Warner Brothers movie, not Warner Brothers, DreamWorks movie.
Yeah, with Elsa.
With Elsa, that was a classic.
Different. That's not a self-insert. You know what I mean? But yeah, like
not a
if I wanted to ship Azul and Ariel, that makes sense because Azul is supposed to be male Ursula and Ariel is like Ariel, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like to an extent, it makes sense. But like the further you go into like I don't know, like I'm sure there are RWBY couples that make sense with couples from other shows. Or not couples from other shows, like characters from other shows.
Is that cross-shipping?
Yeah, cross-shipping. I'm sure cross-shipping makes sense. But I don't know, like,
I mean, Tumblr back in the day, people were into cross-shipping. I don't think it's as much a thing anymore.
Like Sora and RWBY, cute. Like, you know, two cinnamon buns who just want to do their best. What do you mean? Why are you making that face? They're the same age. It's not that.
No, it's fine. I just imagine her being like, wow, your shoes are huge. And, like, that's the... I don't know.
That's the extent of their interaction.
I imagine that's what the relationship would be like.
Oh, boy. Anyway, and so we should probably start talking about the actual episode now.
I'm sorry. I've really been going through it today.
I know. I don't have my ADHD medication either, so...
That's why I'm undiagnosed, presumably, and you don't have your meds. You're glad I'm still on my meds, or when you talked about doing commissions, I would have started crying.
Oh, my God. Okay, so, yes. Jean being used as comic relief. So, okay, here's the thing. So, before we left on our vacation, which is why, like, we didn't do the last 3 episodes, there was so much Jean discourse, and it was so pointless. Kind of. You know, like...
Because they thought that he would be the new main character.
Jean does kind of like Deus Ex Machina RWBY from the Nightmare, but that's not really Jean's fault. That's more like... You know, just the writer's fault for Deus Ex Machina-ing her out, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, I feel like the Jean discourse was just, like, so pointless. Like, he did not become the main character. It's fine. Like, you know what I mean? I think that people were kind of silly for making such a big deal out of Jean going to the Nightmare World, because it was not that big of a deal at all. And I saw so many people, even, like, people with big accounts throwing such, like, a stink about it. Like, I hate when John's important, but like, it wasn't that big of a deal. He was just kind of there. Like,
he didn't feel like an intrudence.
Yeah.
Like in that first season of RWBY, when it felt like it was like, okay, it feels like he's intruding onto like the.
And who knows? Maybe Jean will intrude later. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but like in the 3 episodes that we watched so far, I don't feel like his presence
I feel like
was,
people have forgotten that and have moved on from like other things.
Oh yeah, now there's new discourse now.
There's always new discourse.
I know, there's new discourse. Who cares? It's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. And it's just dropping the Jean discourse for the Blake discourse. Anyway, so yeah, we skipped a lot of the train stuff because like we don't need to see all these shots of the train moving,
split panel switch shots is giving me big like 16 vibes.
Oh my god.
Like 5 of you will get that reference.
You know, when they called each other on the flip phones and said, I'm conferencing you in, and then like it had all the, you know, at the cottage, again, sorry, tangents, whatever, ADHD, I don't care, this is my
High five for ADHD.
Alright.
For myself, okay, left me hanging. Anyway.
Somebody in the chat said, wait, I think the fic you mentioned is mine? Is that true? The Twisted Wonderland fanfic? That's so funny. So funny if true, imagine.
It's a small world out here.
Listen, I'm not saying that like
bored
the fanfic
and decided
is
to
wrong
go.
or
You know what?
anything,
God bless you.
I'm just saying that I found it very funny. Like, you know what I mean? It amused me. I was like, oh, well, this is interesting.
Do what brings you happy. The world is cold. We're all gonna die. Do what makes you happy.
Yeah, I agree. It tickled me to see. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't expect to see RWBY in Twisted Wonderland. Never mind Jean and all the characters.
I feel like you went on a 16 tangent, but then it went on this tangent.
Oh, right. So yeah, Arnold and I watched 16 at the cottage, and he actually liked it. Like, at first he was like, Cal, I don't want to watch watch this girl show. Like, you know what I mean? This girl show.
And it was,
He didn't say it like that, but like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, Cal, I'm a grown man, okay? I don't want to watch Barbie. I don't want to watch High School Musical. Like, what is that? And then he actually watched it, and he was like, okay.
My suggestion to that is, do you know who you're dating? You're like the queen of Arrested Development. Like, you're gonna have to enjoy like this. You're gonna have to enjoy Barbie shit soon, okay?
Yeah, I know. And so yeah, I also liked this callback to Penny, like the dialogue that she had with Yang. I thought that was nice. That was why I saved that screenshot. Like I said, we're kind of blitzing through. I like John putting his shield in the door so it couldn't close. I mean, Klein doesn't have hands, so it's kind of perfect. Like, you know what I mean?
He couldn't whittle his mustache.
It's a simple solution, right?
He couldn't just kept on whacking it until it like slowly nudged.
I guess he probably could have, but yeah, I love this. The food looks so good. Like, what is this? I think it's a banana covered in like chocolate and stuff. It looks so good. I'm so hungry, man. Anyway, we just had lunch.
You had
lunch. I
lunch.
still had lunch and I'm hungry. It's because I don't have my ADHD medication.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so yeah, I like how they give Jean his clothes. I thought that was cute. There's just like alcohol
Is
here.
that wine? Are everyone just getting totally blitzed here? That's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, that's something. And he says, like, you know, I came to let you guys out, but actually, like, it's not that bad over here. And so,
oh my god, it's really big, the relic.
I have a theory about this. And well, it was mostly like Hunter thought of it, and then I was like, yeah, that tracks. So I think that the relic is here because, like, it's about how each character relates to Weiss or gives her something that she wishes that she had. So, like, Ruby's was in the bunk bed room.
Because it was,
Ruby
like,
gives her teamwork and friendship and, like, like, you know, like, camaraderie. And then Hunter pointed out that the reason why this one is here is because Yang is kind of, like, more carefree, you know, party girl vibe sort of thing,
And
right?
that has always been viewed as frivolous by Weiss, and so she actually gets to enjoy having fun now.
Exactly, yeah. And
she can let herself be fun.
I think that kind of makes sense, why Yang's is here. And then the reason why Blake's maybe in, like, the other place is because Blake helps her, like, learn and grow as a person and help her confront the things that she threw in the shed and didn't want to think about anymore.
And
take the things out of the dumpster.
Someone pointed this out in the stream, but it's also, like, pretty nice prison. Like, there's food and drink.
Well, yeah, because it's not supposed to be a prison. It's supposed to be like. So, like,
she's very
them,
like,
right?
like it's like she's nice to them. Like, I could be locked up.
I think all the little Weisses. I think that this is like, you know, people have had criticisms over the past couple episodes of IQ just like being repetitive and like stuff.
I don't know. It's pretty weird.
But this was great. Like, I think the introduction of all the Weiss babies was great. Also, guys, can we just look at this food, man? I'm so hungry. This looks so good. Like, you know what I mean? Like the crepes in the background, but yeah.
You really are off your ADHD medicine, aren't you?
I'm so hungry. Anyway, and so yeah, I loved all the little
and
Weiss.
they're just so gosh darn cute.
And I like how, like, Jean, like, the consequences of Jean's actions, like, leaving the door open, they all just escape.
And I love how they all have weapons, and they're all, like, like, they're like little toddlers that you gave, like, rifles to.
And see, so here's the thing, and this is what I didn't understand at first, but now I kind of get. Ruby gave them the command for freedom. And so the reason why they got out of control, I had lunch already, guys. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm just gluttonous. Like, I don't know. Like, I already ate. We had pizza, pickles, chips. Like, we ate. I had 2 chocolate bars. Anyway, what was I saying?
Balanced breakfast.
Freedom. And so, like, you know, with Ruby, she basically says, go be free. But if you go be free without any restrictions, you start to do, like, bad things. Like, you know what I mean? You start to overindulge and do bad things. And so that's what happened with the little Weisses, basically. Is that Ruby said, like, oh, you know, commanding all of them to be free. But then they got, like, too free.
They went a little wild.
Oopsies.
And I think that represents, because, like, those Weisses are representative of Weiss, so they would act in the way that, like, Weiss would fear would happen, which is they become unruly and they look shit.
Exactly.
Which is why she doesn't want to, like, allow herself to be that way. Because she thinks it's frivolous and will cause damage.
Yeah, I love all the little Weiss, like, I want to play, I want to be spoiled, give me a compliment. Like,
that's honestly how I react as, like, a 24-year-old.
And I love, like, this is very astute, like, you know, did you keep your childhood locked up all this time? And yeah, the little Weisses are just really cute.
And I like how they're bippity-boppity happiness people.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was great. So we're not going to go through, like, too much of that, but I think it's funny. Like,
they hit Jacques.
Jacques says, I want to have fun talking to my family, but he seems to mean his parents, because later he calls for his mom and dad, which is kind of interesting, because we don't know anything about, like...
Yeah, you don't know about his
parents. It's not like Game of Thrones, where it's like, okay, here are our Daenerys' grandparents, like her parents, and then her grandparents, you know, like, other shows do that, but RWBY never has.
Imagine, like, we meet Jean's or Jacques' parents somewhere, and they're just really lovely people.
Yeah. I kind of wish that, like, they did that, though, because, like, imagine, like, RWBY grandma, like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody ever talks about their grandparents in the show. I guess the life expectancy isn't that good. Like, other than Nicholas, obviously, but yeah, like, I don't know. Sometimes I just wonder, like, there's never any grandparent mention or anything for any character. No. Like, even the ones that, like, you know, like, Blake has both of her parents a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I get that, like, with Summer, there's, like, work hazard, you know, being a huntress is work hazard, but, like, you know what I mean? I think that was just the statue repeating other things Weiss wanted. Oh, okay, so it's not Jacques doing that. You guys think that that's actually just Weiss dialogue and the statue's just repeating that. Damn. So Weiss just wants to have fun talking to her family, and instead, they fucking suck. So, that's not good. And I like this. RWBY's like, I feel like we're totally nailing it, and I'm just like, oh, Lord. But yeah. So this is just some dialogue that I thought was interesting, like the feeling she got bottled up or free. Isn't that a good thing, right? So this is where RWBY kind of goes wrong, right? She gives them, like, ultimate freedom, basically, you know? Like, you're the resistance, fight for freedom, right? And so I love the little army of Weiss is so good. Like, this is just so good.
It's very much so just the dream where, like, none of this makes sense. Yeah. This is so desperately strange.
I just love, like, the animation for Weiss here, and, like, how she, like, tries to, like, stick Whitley with the sword. I thought that was good. And, like, this, I know I said this during the reaction, but, like, this has, like, big Kingdom Hearts vibes. Like, the cape floating, standing on the building, like, KH3 ending, you know? But I thought that was really, really good. I just really liked that. And I liked, too, like, they start to get, like, zombified.
And they become huge. And everything starts attacking everything. And this new season of Attack on Titan looks very strange.
Oh, my God.
I think they might have flown the coop.
But yeah, and so now it's like, I want to be spoiled. I want to be pampered. Like, you can see the dialogue change slightly as well. You know, Ren and Nora aren't looking too good. The face on Jean.
He looks terrified.
Yeah, and so Pyrrha's not talking.
And you don't get that in the stills, but the way Nora and Ren walk was really disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this was definitely Attack on Titan inspired. With the Pyrrha thing, some people think that, like, Pyrrha can't talk because that's how Weiss feels. And, like, Weiss is sort of projecting on Pyrrha in a way. And so that's why, like, Pyrrha's not talking. Like, she can only sing Mirror, Mirror. And then Weiss obviously sings Mirror, Mirror later in one of the episodes. So, like, Pyrrha's basically silenced otherwise. Or maybe it's also because, like...
She also is wearing the dress that's similar to Weiss's. So that makes a certain amount of sense.
I could also see it being sort of metaphorical for, like, Weiss values what Pyrrha has to say. And so in order for Pyrrha not to talk her out of it, she shuts her the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, RWBY can say, like, Weiss, come back to us as many times, but Weiss can just dismiss her as a child. But Weiss can't dismiss what Pyrrha says because she actually values Pyrrha's opinion.
Could it also be
so it's easier to shut her up, right?
Could it also be that, like, it could speak something to, like, Weiss respects and, like, loves Pyrrha, but she doesn't know Pyrrha, doesn't understand Pyrrha?
Yeah, that could be, too.
So, like, obviously she thinks highly of her.
But doesn't know what she thinks.
But doesn't know what she's actually like because she's only ever watched from a distance and fantasized about how she'd actually be.
I like all those ideas.
It's a very parasocial relationship.
This is definitely like giving Persona Boss, you know, like the thing with all the arms and stuff. I just think like this would make such a good video game compared to a show. Like, you know what I mean? Not to say that a game would be better than the show, but I do think it would be better than the show. You know what I mean?
I feel like someone could make like a fan-made like Metroidvania-esque game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Based off of this, and I think it would be really good.
You know, and then you could fight everything and things could be a bit drawn out more, you know, because that was something that I saw people, like, talking about was this fight, like, against the building wasn't that big of a deal because RWBY just kind of, you know, evaded, you know what I mean? And so, like, if it was a game, you could actually fight. Also, Weiss looks great here. I don't know why. Her hair is just, like, I don't know. But yeah, are we supposed to fight a building? And I was like, yeah, haven't you guys played
Shadow
the end
and
of
the
Kingdom
Colossus,
Hearts
I
2?
suppose.
But yeah, and so that's people kind of criticized was that the building fight was sort of short, but it would fix that a video game. But yeah, I do like this, like, RWBY trying to assert herself and that she's not a child, like, she can handle this, right? I think that's good, too, because, like, that was something that they talked about was, like, don't coddle RWBY, right? Like,
Yes.
Weiss said that about RWBY. And so I think that, like, this is kind of a callback to that, like, Yang actually not coddling her anymore, and then RWBY actually growing up a little. Like, I feel like it's supposed to be both of those things, call back to that. Something that I do think is interesting that somebody mentioned was that, like, RWBY and Yang and Blake are getting a lot of character development, but Weiss kind of can't because she's stuck in the nightmare.
Well, I mean, I think you get character development in so much, like, not from her, but the world she creates in her mind.
Right.
Like, it reveals her anxieties.
I just think that that's kind of the unfortunate part of IQ is that Weiss is kind of stuck as she is.
That's true.
In a way, compared to, like, everybody else. I think this is episode 8 now. So we're actually done episode 7. That's all that happened in episode 7.
But, like, yeah, like,
it's
big,
we came, we saw,
guy.
the building happened,
I don't know if you screenshotted the train adventure where they all got on the train
I did
and
not. I was like, that is pointless.
We don't
need to talk
cute.
about that.
I like
it
that
was
as a
nice,
scene.
like, visually, but
I thought it was interesting.
I think it went on a little too long, but that's just me, and so...
But I also just like stuff like that where, like, the world shifts in a kind of, like, magical
I think it was
way.
cool how everything, like, parted, like the Red Sea, as the train tracks went on. But yeah, I didn't think that was that important to, like, screenshot into immense detail and stuff. So yeah. Yes, so now this is chapter 8. So this is just Xion talking about, like, the changes. Right? And so, like, there's no turning back now. If we can't get her to stop resisting, then Weiss will no longer have the means to wake up. So they're basically saying she'll die. And, like, Osmond has this look on his face, and I'm like, bitch, you are immortal. You really can't think of anything better than this.
Like, another dead student.
But they do allude to Silver Eyes, like Osmond does later in this episode, so I wonder if the Silver Eyes will happen more than...
Yeah, like, what if RWBY just used hers? I mean, I guess this is before she learns about her
right? But I think that maybe she could or will because of what Osmond said. But yeah, okay, so at first when we saw this, we thought that they blew up the children.
Like, murdered
but
them.
now I see they're basically blowing up the big ones to make them small again and then dropping them back into the thing, which isn't that much better, but at least they're not dead.
But they're not
dead.
I
was afraid that statue actually killed them. I wonder if that could also be like a representation of, like, maybe her grandfather said to do this before he died, like, for Weiss to grow up and, like, the responsibilities she would have, because it's the grandfather that helps to put them back in the cage. So I don't know.
But I feel like the grandfather is still like a that's like Weiss
extension. Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, ooh, Nicholas Schnee lore, Also, Ren doesn't have his hat anymore.
He lost his.
So I don't know what happened to that.
Oh, and he got big. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, they all got big. So I will allow you to behave as freely as you please as long as you are tightly locked up on the other side. Right? And so I think that's interesting. It's like, hey, you can do whatever you want. Just do it over there, please. And so I think that's, like, an interesting thing for Weiss. And, like, I don't know. I think that this is an interesting thing for Weiss's character. Like, I actually really like this. So I don't know. I
feel like that communicates, like, an anxious attachment style. Like, the people she cares about, she needs to keep locked up.
Yeah.
Because she's afraid that they're going to go away or that they won't love her or that they'll learn that she's a monster.
That's what I think, too. And I like this scene with Willie. Like, oh, I'm going to tell my sister, and then he just blasts away. Like, I thought that was nice, like, comedic stuff. Like, not real Whitley, obviously. Like, don't,
I'm okay if Whitley
gets
punched in the face.
But, like, this is his dream, Whitley.
If he does, like, a punch in the faceable, like, thing.
Yeah.
You can punch him in
the
face.
Not real Whitley, but, like, you know what? Dream Whitley.
I mean, Dream Whitley, see, because, like, yeah, punch him in the face. He's not feeling it.
But yeah, Silver Eye foreshadowing, I think, is definitely, like, that's what Ozpin was getting at there. And I like Jean, like, I'll do whatever it takes to wake her up. Like, and, like, Weiss is just like, no. Weiss is just like, you're one of the sillies, you can't do that. And so I thought, yeah, so this was interesting, like, word choice. I wonder how they're gonna do this in English.
Be a good boy and return to where you belong.
But, like,
people might enjoy that a little too much.
But in Kingdom Hearts, one of the characters says that to Sora.
And
like,
has that sparked anything in you, Caleb?
No, I don't think so. I mean, because it was one of the older male characters. I think they meant it in a condescending way.
I see.
You know what I mean? Because like if you've been a good boy, like you know, like that sort of thing. Not like this. I don't know. I don't know how this is meant to be interpreted.
I'm sure it's not meant to be horny like that.
Yeah, I hope it's not. I mean, I don't know. Like, it'll depend on how we hear it in English, I guess, because tone is kind of hard to tell for me sometimes when we're watching. Language. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like there's plenty of horny that occurs later on for no good reason.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That is the discourse, anyway. And so, I love, like, just how Jean is basically running a daycare. You know what I mean? Like, you guys were so worried. Some people were so worried on, like, God's internet about, you know, Jean, like, intervening and being the main character, and Jean has just been stuck daycaring a bunch of children. Like, this is the best outcome, in my opinion.
This
like,
scene
you know
was very twisted, where one of the little ones...
I think it got free. I think that it's okay. I think this is the implication that these are supposed to be all of the Weisses. Okay. You know? The daycare of all of the Weisses. Weissai? Oh, yeah, there was something in the subtitles I didn't like, where it said Weisses. But you're supposed to just use the apostrophe when a name has an S at the end, but then the subtitles had Weiss apostrophe S again. You know what I mean? Like,
not to be grammar police about it, but you're right. That is not how you do it.
I was thinking about. So yeah, and then they go into this fight, and Yang immediately gets fucking zapped, and then Blake gets zapped, and so yeah, I don't know. This fight again, I kind of she never got free. She got stuck. Don't say that, Lumen. She got free in my heart. I guess some of them just stayed with Ren and Nora. And then some of them, like, came with, I guess. I guess that was the implication.
They're all adorable, and that's what really counts.
But yeah,
and they're going to be so merchandisable. My God.
Oh my God, yeah, for real. Like, imagine little plush. I would get that to go with, like, my Kingdom Hearts ones back there. Like, little Funko Pop, you know? The S can change depending on the grammar rules. I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of that before. I was always taught that if you have a name and it has an S at the end, it's supposed to be is. The Associated Press allows it. I don't like that. I like my way better.
Well, the AP style guide is the thing.
Oh boy. And so yeah, like this scene again. Some people criticize this for being really fast because we were back in the same place we were a couple episodes ago. Yeah. Back in the theater, and then everybody just, like, gets, like, sucked in.
But I feel
right
like
away.
It's been weird. It was weird enough that, like, because, like, we now have Jacques as a
Right. Like, it changed it up a little. But, like, I don't know. I feel like that's something the show's really lacking is the fight scene, like, the RWBY-esque fight scene. Yeah. Like, people fight, but it's not a fight scene. It's more of, like, they replace dialogue with a bit of, action instead of a fight scene. Does that make sense? I don't know how to explain that any better. Because you guys may be like, Cal, isn't that what a fight scene is? And I would say, no. I don't know. It's like,
I think it's different than like a highly...
while we're talking. I don't know.
Like a highly choreographed fight scene and then just people fighting.
Exactly. And I feel like that right now we're at like people fighting stage where I hope like, I mean, I don't know. It's also budget, right? Like,
that's true.
They'll probably blow the budget on the last couple episodes, right?
You blow the budget on the first and the last episode.
Exactly. And so, yeah, but they break this, and I'm not sure how they're going to fix that. Because they break this one, so that's not good.
So, I mean, they're not returning from the dream anyways, so, like...
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't need it, you know? Like, but anyway. But yeah, I like RWBY hiding. That was actually really smart. Like, her...
using her semblance to poof away.
You know, making Weiss think that she got sucked in and teleported away. I thought that was actually really smart. I wasn't sure how Jean got here, but then Hunter said that Jean used a coin.
Yes, he had a coin.
So I'll allow it, but at first, I was a little confused. And I need to take a sip of water, so Hunter, you're going to have to take
Oh dear, I don't know. I kind of liked him back when he didn't have his orange hat and mitts. I mean, it makes sense now that he's like cold and sneezy, which we saw in the last episode.
Yeah, why are they orange?
That's true. I don't know.
Like, that's not really John's color scheme. I don't know.
Do you ever just do you ever just look at someone and think they have orange vibes?
No.
Never mind then. Anyways.
I guess orange is a very hard color to pull off. You know.
I feel maybe that's where like I think John would be like, ooh, orange is my color, and then look hideous and everything. Like, looks like a prison, like an escaped prisoner in every orange outfit he wears.
That's what I'm saying. That's basically what I'm saying.
I feel like high school Jean did that.
Probably. But yeah, I think that like this scene is interesting because everybody's trying to think of new plans. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But nobody actually has a
Oh,
functioning plan.
Little
I
baby
love,
Weiss
like-
is holding Pyrrha's hand.
Yeah, that's so cute. I just love Pyrrha daycare. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's just so great. I thought that was so good. Also, Hunter and I were jokingly calling this the racism den in our reaction.
That's a
but,
little
like,
bit.
isn't this weird?
Yeah,
It's
the
shaped
cat
like
ears
a
do not
cat.
enter.
Like,
That's probably
I do think
anti-feminist.
this is interesting, though. Like,
They look like. Does anyone
They're
remember
sweet dust
Amelia
company.
Bedelia?
oh my god, yeah, I
They
know what
look
you're
like the
talking
Amelia
about.
Bedelia characters,
So-
which is to say, awful looking.
This was, again, like, this was kind of, like, weird and trippy and, you know, whatever, like, but anyway, I guess we're going back to Jean and everything. So I think the thing with Jean is that the sword has immunity, and he has immunity too, and his
Yeah.
immunity is, like, extended in the sword, which is why, like, Weiss thought that, like, oh, is this supposed to be representative of the fact that, like, he can't handle his weapon? Or, sorry, Yang said that Weiss thought that, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's more like that, Jean, like, defeating the nightmare, like, it wasn't really him that defeated it, it was, like, Pyrrha and, you know, company, right? So I
Sure.
think the sword's kind of representative of that, too, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, that it's too much for Jean to handle, because his nightmare was so weak and other people had to handle it. Like, he couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't handle it. People still had to handle it for him. You know? So I wonder if that's why the sword also has immunity. Because it's just a representation of, like, John being too weak for, like, this, you know, this perk that he has, basically, now. Like, this immunity that he has. I don't know. Anyway, that's just something that I was thinking about. He's, like, too big for his britches? Is that what you said?
Sure.
You know,
big for
something
his
like
britches.
that. Like, yeah, oh, you have immunity from the nightmare, but it's not because of you. It's because your friend
Sure,
saved you, you
okay,
asshole.
maybe.
Like, that sort of thing. I don't know. But yeah, and so, I guess these relics aren't actually going to come together, though, because the yellow one's broken.
Yes.
So that's what I thought was going to happen, was that all of the relics were going to be used to, like, I don't know,
Oh, look
do
at my
something.
babies.
The sword represents John's false confidence in himself. I think so. Uh-oh.
I feel like
Why
he's
are we
not
buffering?
very
I
confident.
think so, but it's not just the false confidence, though, because it has immunity. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it must have
so it
something to do
works.
with the nightmare and stuff as well. Like, it must have something to do with John in relation to the nightmare. At least that's what I think.
I just love all. I don't care. I just love all these
You don't
little
care.
Weisses.
You're like, who cares about what the
I
sword
like little
symbolizes?
Weiss getting her hair
Doesn't
like
matter.
brushed by Pyrrha, little Weiss on her belly, little Weiss taking a nap.
Oh, man.
I want to adapt 12 baby Weisses.
I know. Hunter was like, I'm never having kids, and then you saw the baby Weisses.
And then I'm
you
like,
were
I'm having 12 of them.
Exactly.
They're
but they have to
fictional.
be like,
They have to. They can't age too, and they will be like my minions,
oh my god.
right? Like we will cause chaos and mischief.
Oscar. Why are you guys talking about Oscar? Oh,
I
because
think they're
he's
still
Team
talking about the
Orange. Oh, I
orange
see,
stuff.
I see. We're all the way back. It's okay. But yeah, I really like this. I like, you know, Pyrrha playing with the hair. I like Jean's explanation, you know, about, like, she wasn't imprisoning them. Like, she was, like, protecting them. And yeah, and so I like this, like, I don't know, it looks like they're all running into the sea or something, and Weiss is just watching them. I also think this is interesting, because, like, this Weiss is wearing different clothes
Yes.
than baby Weiss. And so I
And
wonder
also regular Weiss.
if this could be, like, a reference to, like, that point in her life when things changed, maybe? Like, a
yeah.
specific, like, moment where she was wearing these clothes that maybe we'll see later in, like, a flashback or something. I don't know if I'm, like, overthinking
I mean,
it.
that looks to be the clothing she wears
When she sings.
when she sings or when she needs to be, like, formal.
Yeah. And so I wonder if it was, like, maybe that's the last outing with her grandfather, who was
Maybe,
like,
yeah.
Weiss, like, go team, like, you know, I'm on my deathbed, this is the last concert I'm gonna see from you, and, like, make sure that you do the good things, right, in the
It
future.
would be interesting if Weiss was
I wanna
baby
see
Weiss's
Nicholas.
age when he passed away. So, like, that's why she always, like, that was the
like
last
the death
time.
of her childhood. That was the
Yes.
last time she was happy.
Maybe her grandfather protected her from shock.
Yeah.
And if I were to adopt all the Weisses, I'd have one really long bed, and they
Oh
would
my
all, like,
God.
sleep on it
Like the seven dwarfs
like the
in
seven
the movie.
dwarves.
Oh my god. But yeah, I like Ruby's self-doubt here because it's kind of like a reference, not a reference, but it's like leading up to the nightmare.
Yes.
Like she's having more negative thoughts about herself and she's like Team Ruby is an embarrassment. And like, look at all the little Weisses. They're like, oh, this bitch is
Don't be
crying.
sad.
Yeah, I know. You have a more generous interpretation. Hunter's interpretation was right. I just thought it was funny. That they're like, oh, this bitch is crying. Let's go see. Kids are like that, though.
Imagine if, like, that would be cute if they looked really cute, but they were just awful people who said awful things to people.
But yeah, like, this is part of the nightmare, right? Like, RWBY just, like, dead ass.
Oh, are you crying because your mommy died? Your pussy? Like, is that, like...
Yeah.
Did you only imagine?
That's basically what I was thinking, but no. And so, yeah, I like the scene with RWBY sort of slowly, like, succumbing. The bashful Calxiyn, it does make sense. This is like all the things that Weiss doesn't want to be seen.
That makes
sense,
I
mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't expect to see any more drawers. Have we seen all 7 drawers? I have not kept track.
Well, there's been angry, and then there's the dog one.
Yeah.
And then there's the 2 doors.
Silly door, yeah. Then there was sleepy. Wait, hold on. Let's go back to the beginning. So there was angry.
Yeah.
Right? There was door, which was sleepy. There was door, which was dopey.
I feel like there was another.
There's the dog.
There was the dog, and then
there was happy in the thingy. And then
there's the one in the candle.
And then there's a candle, what one is that supposed to be?
Doc?
I don't know. What are the... Oh, wait, Sneezy. No, it was Sneezy. The dog is sneezing.
Oh, right,
okay,
it is.
yeah. So I guess the candle's Doc, and then the door is bashful. So I guess we've seen all of them. Because I thought that the dog was Doc at first, but I think that that's the last Calxiyn, actually. So we have seen all the Calxyns. So
we've
Doc
collected all the Calxyns.
Yeah, exactly. And so I kind of understand what they're going for with this, right? It's like the kingdom is dead. You know, like everybody's asleep. And that's very, like, Sleeping Beauty vibes compared to Snow White. Like, it's Sleeping Beauty where everybody in the kingdom goes to sleep. But Xion is supposed to be based off of Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent. The robot Calxiyn, the robot Calxiyn is angry, isn't it? Yeah. Or was that a different one? Anyway, we found them.
He went normal to angry when stuff started bad.
And so now that True Order has returned, Weiss can finally go to sleep. Like, that's basically
And by sleep is go into a glass coffin and die.
Yeah.
Which is very Snow White, because there was a glass coffin in Snow White, wasn't there?
Exactly, yes. And so I watched Critter's review of episode 9. And I kind of agreed that, like, you know, Weiss going into the coffin and then immediately being pulled out was kind of like, oh,
it was a bait and switch.
Yeah, it was a bait and switch, but at the same time, I think it was, this doesn't make it good, but I think that that's the point. It's like they knew that Weiss was going to go to sleep, and the only way to wake her up, right, everything is calm. The only way, like, True Order has returned. The only way to get Weiss out of the coffin would to fuck shit up again.
Yes.
Because she wouldn't be able to sleep anymore. She would have to wake up. You know what I mean? So that, I don't know, that just makes sense to me. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Weiss is in the coffin, but the way to get her out of the coffin, according to Calxiyn, is to disturb shit in the kingdom. So that's why she gets pulled out. That was part of the plan. You know? Like, it was part of the plan to disturb stuff so she wouldn't be able to sleep anymore. Because Weiss can only sleep after everyone's defeated. So I don't know, it made sense to me, like, in hindsight,
that makes sense.
But yeah, I thought this was the fucked up part of the episode that I thought was really cool. Oh my god.
First off, this is a Neon Genesis Evangelion reference.
And I like this because, like, this is what RWBY in her heart wants Weiss to say to her, which I think is really interesting. Like, you're my best friend and the most fantastic, like, leader in the world. That face is the
exact face that, like, Shinji makes. Like, his eyes get all doe-eyed and he becomes blushy.
I never knew that.
Yeah, that face.
I never knew that, like,
when he's rubbing the back of his head.
Like, the gif was
Congratulations. Yeah, it's the last scene of the show of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Right.
Where the main character goes into this world where everything's okay, where nothing bad ever happened to him.
Spoilers, question mark, for a 20-year-old
For
anime.
an over 25-year-old anime. That's, like, broadly considered a classic. You should go watch it. What are you doing here? Like, it's on Netflix. Go watch it. The Netflix version is questionable.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, so he basically, like, I forget how he gets in there.
So that's how it ends? Nobody saves him? He just goes in there and dies?
No, then a movie happens.
Oh, okay.
Which is called, and the movie is called The End of Evangelion.
That's why I said spoilers, because, like, I thought it would be, I thought that was the ending, was like, he just hallucinates and dies or whatever.
The actual ending is so weird that I could not adequately describe it.
Oh, okay. So, the show ends like this?
Yes.
And then people had to wait for a movie?
Yes.
That's so fucked up, man.
It gets worse. So they had to draw it in with like markers because they ran out of budget.
Oh.
Because about halfway, to my understanding, about halfway through the production.
What do you mean markers? How were they doing it before?
Actual cell animation.
Oh, okay.
And
so
it was
what
just
happened?
like markers on papers, I think, or like they really cheapened it up.
Right.
I mean, the whole thing's a depression metaphor, but basically, because halfway through it, there was an incredibly violent episode that involves like streets full of blood being poured out, which was dope. But yeah, and so one of the last episodes is really weird. Like, there's like a 3-minute scene where it's just holding of a person standing on a giant robot's hand, and they don't move because they didn't have the budget for them to animate anything.
Right.
They just kind of sit
it's like
there
storyboard?
and stand. Well, there's just no animation. It's just a still frame.
Well, they just wanted to fill the runtime with something?
Yeah, that was near the end.
But now that's like artsy and like avant-garde.
And I think, no, that's the thing.
You know.
It is, like, even though the ending's very weird, it is artsy and avant-garde and is important because it's about, like, what Shinji actually wants, which is to be loved and seen and understood by people. Mm-hmm. But fundamentally, it's he can't do that because he's depressed and he doesn't know how to relate to people.
I see. I think it's funny Ty's there. Ty. Yeah. Ty. I thought I called him Zwei.
Zwei's also there.
Ty, yeah, and like I love all the kids are
but
there.
But legitimately, all of
there.
this, like that scene where she makes that face and she rubs the bed, like that was from Ava. This scene where like
you would consider that like an homage,
that
right?
would be
Not
an
like
homage.
A copying. I think.
No, it's well. They also
right?
change enough. Like they're like that kind of happens, but they don't turn into dolls.
I think
they're
this is cool though. Like this
they're
is
like
really
fully
cool.
sized people. Standing in the lights, but the spotlights, that happens. I don't think the shadows over their faces happen.
They should just make these. I know I kind of clowned on the RWBY Twitter account because they said like, oh, like we should make these into plushies, and I was like, really? These instead of like the RWBY doll that like runs around and says like, you know, I didn't mean it or whatever she
RWBY,
said. Like you know,
wacky
what I mean?
inflatable arm flailing.
Yeah, exactly. But now I'm like, you know, actually, these would be kind of cute. Like I don't know, they're just cute. I guess.
Yeah, this is all very, and every obnoxious Evangelion nerd.
Is the crying too?
I don't think he cries at the end.
Okay, well this is just RWBY then. RWBY's just
crying.
crying.
I mean, it's obviously inspired.
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying, like, RWBY's probably crying because she realizes what's going on, but can't do anything to stop it, which I think is actually very interesting. Yeah. All right, guys. Now that we sped run episodes 7 and 8, let's focus on episode 9. And so I like this. I like kind of the callback to the scene, like with the coffee. I thought that was really good.
I love how they just really, because I feel like that's the kind of blinker you miss in the original series.
Yeah.
And they don't bring it up that much.
And now there's like more focus on it.
I mean, it's important, but they don't bring it up much. But now there's like a repetition of it, and you see how much it really matters.
Yeah. And I like this because I guess this is real Weiss talking to real RWBY. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just, and she's like, okay, I gotta go back to my own dream now, bye. Like, you know, I thought that was interesting.
I didn't know if, I thought that it was Dream RWBY, or RWBY talking to a dream Weiss of her own creation, but it's not. That's actual Weiss.
I think so. I think that's the idea.
Impression,
yeah, it's some weird, like, Sora talking to Roxas in the 3DS game.
Remember how I talked about how I could create a list of all the predictable shit you do?
But what else am I gonna, like, reference, though? There's nothing else like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what, does Breaking Bad have a scene where, like, you know, the bald guy goes into his dreamscape and talks to himself, Hunter? I'm sorry, but his Kingdom Hearts dream drop distance. Maybe there will be some similarities, okay?
I don't know why you attacked Breaking Bad. I've seen that show once a very long time ago. It's not like a very important part of my identity.
I haven't seen Breaking Bad either.
You're like, your favorite show, Hunter, Breaking Bad. And I'm like,
thinking of like a show with real people in it. Like a non-anime. Like, you know what I mean? I was like,
part of me, like, honestly.
What's a popular show that people who don't watch anime watch? Like Game of Thrones, like Breaking Bad, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like real fleshy person shows.
Real fleshy person shows.
Yeah.
Isn't there not another word you can think for the real? You know what? No, the real fleshy person shows.
Well,
if someone comes up to me and I'm like, I'm an actor, I'm like, oh, like a voice actor, or are you one of those real fleshy people?
Oh, Inception's probably good. I've never seen it. Like, you know
Inception
what I mean?
is. I feel like you would like it,
reference,
but like, yeah, people. I don't know if he has a
I
conversation.
haven't seen
with
The
Matrix
Matrix either, by the way.
I have not seen The Matrix either.
But hey, now with our new Ko-fi video commissions, if you would like me to watch The Matrix, which runtime is, I don't know how much
like 2 hours.
2 hours. It'll only cost $40, $20 per hour. Anyway, and so you've seen The Matrix, right?
I've not.
Oh, you haven't?
I've not seen The Matrix.
Okay. Well, you'll have to pay double for the Hunter fee. But, you know, I know that you guys are only interested in my viewing. So
Of
you guys
course.
can't even hear Hunter half the time.
Of course. Are you just trying to work me out now?
What do
You're
you
like,
mean?
oh, like all I have to do is make sure that a mic does not pick up Hunter's speech,
Oh my
and
God.
then tell her we're gonna start doing commissions again, and she'll fucking move to New Brunswick to get away from me. Like, just tell me, let me down easy.
No, I'm just kidding. And so I like
You're
this.
replacing me with your mom and Arnold.
No, that's why you can get away with the things I can't. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Like I like their
You're the
conversation
person I
here.
want to be.
Yeah, and it's not even that, but you can move freely where I can't. And her understanding how Yang feels, because she was like, you know what? You're so fucking spoiled, and you spoiled your sister. Like, that's not what she said. But even though Weiss hasn't been able to get a lot of character development, this is kind of the character development, right? Because it seems like that Weiss kind of is remembering what goes on in the dream to an extent. Because she's saying that now, after seeing RWBY so much during the dream, she understands why Yang spoils her.
I mean, one thing that I disagree with is that I don't think RWBY is spoiled.
But I think that they mean spoiled as in,
I think she thinks she's spoiled.
Sheltered or something.
But really, she's, maybe she's sheltered. But, I think that, when Weiss says spoiled, maybe it's just, she doesn't understand that she's not happy because she gets everything she wants.
Yeah,
she's happy because she makes an honest to God effort to try to do things to be happy.
But that's what Weiss says here. When I see you, it makes me want to set them free too.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's I kind of understand why Yang lets you do whatever you want and stuff, because it makes, when I see you, I want to set you free too.
And I'm not going to suggest that you can't think your way out of depression, but I do think that RWBY has had a lot of bad shit happen to her, and sometimes you do just need to have a very aggressively positive attitude towards things of what RWBY has. And I think
I don't even think it's that, but she's looking at it from Yang's perspective.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? I kind of get looking at the little kids and looking at you, why Yang would want to set them free. Yang has sort of set you free to an extent. I don't know. But yeah, I think she was, but not to spoil them, right? It's she's well, I still won't spoil them like they want to be spoiled.
They're kind of spoiled. You keep them in a place with liquor and candy.
I guess so.
Two things that children probably shouldn't have too much, or maybe any at all of.
But yeah, and so I think that this was interesting. Your simplistic and reckless nature questionable. I know I can count on you. So I feel that maybe was the character development if this is real Weiss. Weiss was only pretending to accept RWBY as team leader, but now she actually is. So I thought that was good. And I think this is interesting too. I've never met anyone else lonelier than myself.
Apparently my voice was cutting out a bit.
Damn. Here we go again. Yeah, I know. I said this at the beginning of the stream, but we're having some weird problem where the mic's not picking up Hunter's voice for some reason.
They're transphobic. Anyways.
Oh my God. But yeah, I think that this is interesting, right? Because RWBY's you're lonely, Weiss, and then she thinks of her mom, which I don't really get that per se. I think that it's because RWBY didn't have any other friends going to Beacon, so RWBY was gonna say oh, but I understand. How can you be lonely because your parents are alive? Maybe is the thought process that she was going on.
Or maybe she's also thinking I've also been lonely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The noise gate has a mind of its own. I know, Raijin. I've turned the noise gate off. There should be no more noise gate. That's what I don't understand. I've turned it down. It was at something before. It was at something before, and I just turned it all the way down to let any of the noise just, to let the noise just come through. But I think Arnold touched something, and now he doesn't remember, and he's too embarrassed to tell me he doesn't remember what he did. But anyway. We'll figure it out. I'll try to get it fixed because I don't think it was doing this before. I genuinely don't, and I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like
maybe RWBY hasn't considered that she's lonely.
I think it's because, like, on the surface, like, but Weiss, you have a big family. You have all these siblings. Like, you have your parents, right? So I think at first she was like, you can't be more lonely than me. I'm talking to my mother's gravestone, Weiss, you know? But, like, you know, now that she's seen everything, she does know that Weiss is lonely. That's how I think that, like,
Perhaps,
it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my interpretation of it, is that RWBY's kind of knee-jerk reaction is like, you can't be lonelier than me, okay? Like, you don't know what I've been doing, right? But yeah, I think the disappointing part of this episode, so this was the first strike against this episode, right? Was how quickly, like, RWBY, woke up. Like, that she succumbed to it, but then she woke the fuck up in, like, 3 seconds.
But she also got hit by all the, like, vines. That's not, you know.
What do you mean?
I don't know, because she got hit by the vines, and that's why it started growing.
No,
right?
but like that she was there, and then not that she succumbed to it, but she succumbed to it for like 5 minutes, and then it stopped.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And so I think that's interesting, right? And like, like the thing about the gun too, like the barrel's actually on the other side, and then it says like, no, everything has its reason. After all, it hides in the shadow of the person you're facing, which I didn't understand that very well. But, like, you know, I don't know what that means yet, but I feel like that's foreshadowing for something, but I don't know. Do you know? Does anybody know? Like, I feel like that's
the person she's facing is Weiss. So
yeah.
The reason hides in her shadows.
All facing ourselves. Like,
which is like her insecurities, where she keeps in her...
Yeah.
Maybe she just have to acknowledge that this has all just been about her insecurities.
Maybe. Yeah. Like, it's backwards because it's like, it's your shadow, you know, and what hides in the shadows and stuff, I guess. But yeah, and so Weiss basically went back to her own nightmare. Like, this is your dream. I'm going to my dream.
That is weird. Like, why is the gun backwards? I thought it was interesting that Weiss wasn't paying attention.
I think it is that, but maybe I mean, maybe I think it's both, right? I think it could be Weiss just making up a reason for being wrong. She still doesn't want to admit that she got something wrong, you know? It could be something like that, but yeah, so Jean, you know, saves her, right, basically, like, with the sword and everything. We won't go, too deep into, like, all these, screenshots.
Like, all the little babies.
How it's like, go, Sean, you can do it, and I'm like, Pyrrha, why are you just standing there? You know what I mean? You have, like, the Amazon muscles, like, go, like, lift her up.
You can just throw RWBY at that sword.
I know, anyway, and so I just thought that was, pretty funny, but yeah, and so, I'm two minds about this, because, like, people have been like, this arc is too long, like the Weiss arc, but, like, the Weiss arc is also the entire show, right? It's RWBY Ice Queendom, so I get why they don't want to have RWBY stuck in the nightmare, because it's not about RWBY, it's about Weiss. On the other hand, though, like, that could have been, like, sort of a twisty twist, is that they, like, woke up Weiss, but then RWBY was trapped in the nightmare, and the rest of the episodes were Weiss doing the same thing for RWBY as RWBY did for her, and it could have shown Weiss's development and how Weiss, like, being in the nightmare, and being saved by the nightmare, like, changed her and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they could have done something like that, but they didn't. At least, I don't think they did. I think the nightmare still may be in RWBY, though, because there's another scene where her hand has the mark on it. So I do wonder if,
So, like, I don't think it was, like, it cured her. Yeah. It just pushed it back a little.
I do wonder if maybe it's, like, temporary or something, and, like...
Well, like an immunity to a virus after you get the virus.
But John doesn't have it.
I mean, RWBY doesn't have it, but also, like, it's not... The way immunities work, it's not going to be perfect forever. So, inevitably, like, maybe this is, like, when the immunity affects her similarly. It's not perfect, and it won't be forever. Both of our voices are cutting out, apparently.
Listen.
Oh, dear.
I don't know what to do anymore, guys. I just need to look at this screen instead of looking at the chat, because the microphone is over here, I guess. Like I said, I'll try to fix it, but I don't know what happened. I don't know. It was perfect. It was literally perfect only a couple days ago. But anyway. Oh, goodness. Yeah, and so, you know, RWBY wakes up pretty fast, but, like, it's fine. Maybe but see, the thing in her hand is gone. Like, she pulls out the coin and then it disappears. Which, I don't know what that was about, but I think it's because Xion was trying to call her, and, like, it just wasted a coin. Like, I'm not entirely sure what was going on with that. But anyway.
I'm not sure either.
But the semblance has not been exhausted yet either. So Shion's basically like, you know what? Like, we got time. You know? Like,
we got time.
That's basically what they're saying is like, okay, well, you know, I guess my semblance is fine. But yeah, this is like Jean foreshadowing, I think. Like, Ozpin's like, what semblance does he have? Like, we know that Jean has healing. Confirm that Arnold cursed your stream. Yeah, like I said, I'll try to figure it out another time. But, like, he didn't touch my OBS settings. That's what I don't understand. I feel like, I don't know. It may have something to do with the actual microphone interface, but like I said, I'll try to, like, look into that later. Oh, goodness. What was I gonna say? I think it's also because, like, my voice was higher at the beginning of the stream, but then as we started talking, my voice has gotten into, like, hunter territory now. And so, like, it's just, like, for some reason, I don't know. I have no clue. Anyway, I'm trying to talk into the microphone as much as I can, so we'll see. But yeah, and so I think that this is, like, foreshadowing to, like, Jean semblance time, basically. And so, see, this is, like, Silver Eye Warrior, like, foreshadowing, like, very, like, suspicious, you know? And so I think that this is interesting. Yeah, and so I think that, like, she's definitely gonna use her silver eyes on the Grim, right? Like, they're just gonna end things that way.
That would have been, like, an easy fix.
Right, but I think she's gonna figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? I think that that'll be the end of this arc, is that she'll figure it out. I also think that, like, the reason why this conversation is one-sided here between Weiss and the book is because Winter is answering, but, like, we can't hear Winter for some reason. I think that that's the implication there. And yeah, so Mirror, I thought this was really cool. I just love when characters sing as themselves. Yeah. I thought it was really well done.
It was a creepy cover, like, it was very sparse.
It was, like, a cappella, like, there wasn't any backing. I think it was great. Like, I really liked this. I liked sort of, like, the parallel here. I liked all the little Weisses being absorbed, like, all the absorbed Weiss.
You've heard of Big Nicholas. Now get ready.
Oh, my God. I love this about the shed. Like, yeah, it's just like our shed back home, except it's worse. Like, covered in junk that never gets cleaned. And I thought that was so fucked up. And then
Dad, the nightmare realm opened up in the shed again.
Oh my God. And you can see that this is a bunk bed, right? So, like,
but not their bunk bed. It's a
somebody
whole different
else's bunk bed. Maybe the bunk bed
that she wanted.
She always wanted, but she never got to have. Like, that's pretty fucked up, man. You know, like, that's pretty fucked up. And so, yeah, like, and see, what's interesting, though, is that the door on Blake's room, has, like, the real White Fang symbol, I guess, like, the Gira White Fang symbol, right?
Maybe because she's starting to, maybe that's where, it's like, where she keeps her emotions she's not ready for.
But I sort of was thinking about it, like, in regards to Blake.
Yes.
Like, you know, she can still acknowledge that Blake was maybe part of the old White Fang and not like this.
But like her, like she was part of a White Fang, but it does not mean she's evil. She's a good person. People can change, and that the White Fang may have had a good point in a lot of regards.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm thinking. Is like, you know, and this was Gira's White Fang, right? So this is kind of like the category that. And
like, this is where they find the black piece that probably represents
the purple
Blake's, purple piece that represents Blake.
And so I think that, like, the thing with this is supposed to be, like, that, you know, Blake has opened up, like, Weiss to, like, knowledge of the world and, like, not be ignorant anymore.
To view people more complexly than she had previously.
Yeah, and that's why there's all the books and everything.
That people can be contradictory.
Yeah. I do think what's interesting, though, right, is, like, I don't know, I think people made kind of a good point on Twitter that, that Blake is a little... Like, she's very, like, forgiving. You know what I mean? I think a lot more than she probably would be in the main show. Like, she's a lot more, like...
But this is also, like, Dream. Dealing with Dream Weiss. So maybe there's an understanding that this isn't really Weiss. This is just... Yeah, that's true. Like a twisted nightmare.
But I did see that, like, criticism of Blake's character so far. Is that, like, Blake in, like, canon... would have been, like, no-nonsense, like, bitch, you know, energy, I guess. But, like, this Blake is actually very, like, I don't know, she's a lot more tame and, like, a bit too understanding, maybe. Because here's the only thing that rubs me the wrong way. I used to believe the Schnee Company and people persecuting the Faunus were all dangerous and terrifying. the same way she thinks. Deep in my heart, I knew that they weren't
I
that
feel
way.
like the
Which is kind of weird because
they are doing that.
yeah, the people persecuting the Faunus are dangerous and terrifying.
Yeah.
What they should have said was I used to think humans.
Yes.
Right? But see, so that's I think where people have that was strike 2 against this episode.
Yeah, I honestly that was what bothered me because I feel like it wasn't that, and I feel like with the dub, I think it would be wise to say human.
Yeah, because the Schnee Dust Company and people persecuting the Faunus are terrifying. Persecution is terrifying. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Persecution is dangerous. Like, so I know what they wanted Blake to say, but this was like not it. You know what I mean? Like, this was not the way to say it. She should have said like humans,
yes,
or like people from Atlas, because not everybody from Atlas is like that, right? But the people persecuting the Faunus are dangerous. So yeah, that was like that's something that really bothered me, and I think that too, like. I saw an interview with the people that like wrote the anime or whatever, right? And they said that they wanted to tackle this because like they felt like it was important and like, you know, like it's like the themes of, you know, like division, I guess, like between the Faunus and the humans was something that like interests them and they wanted to explore it more and like go into that theme. Like they seem to have a very I don't know, like I don't want to say social justice angle, but they wanted to like bring it, I guess, to like viewers' attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the allegory and the metaphor and everything, right? And so like good intention, like questionable execution.
So far, the
right?
execution had been okay, but it's just that it's because it's Blake. Like all the shit that like Weiss believed, I thought that was interesting and revealing. But that statement by Blake, I take issue
and
with.
so I think that people are taking issue with the idea that like
she would be all peace and love and forgiveness.
Exactly. Yeah, and Blake's not really like that.
But
that
no, like she would recognize that
her for like I don't know. They're basically like they're minimizing the Faunus in order to make
they're minimizing
Weiss,
the crimes of the humans in order to make like Weiss look better and for Weiss and Blake to get along
and that's
quicker.
A little sus.
Yeah, I'm not crazy
because you want to tackle it, but then you're also just sweeping up the racism. Like, you know what I mean? You're just sweeping up the racism. So yeah, I think that was like strike 2 against this episode. Was I think that they did Blake like dirty that way. You know what I mean? Like I think that that's sort of like the weird like I don't know. I think that's just kind of weird. Right? Like, deep in my heart, I knew they weren't all that way, but, like, they are that way if they're persecuting you. So it's just, like, poor word choice. Because I'm pretty sure that Blake means human. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I can read that and say, I think that they meant humans. But that's not what the line says. And so
I think they meant to be talking about Weiss, because Weiss is part of the SBC to some extent, but, like, Blake learned to appreciate that, okay, she's not that terrible.
It's just like the word choice.
Yeah, the wording is not great.
I think the wording's just like bad. Like, you know what I mean?
But
like,
then a part of me is like, am I giving the show too much credit? Are they just like not doing a good job with it?
Well, I think
maybe they don't mean that. Maybe
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think they meant human, but that's not what they wrote. So we should look at what they wrote, and what they wrote, I think,
and what they wrote was bad.
Yeah, and so that's what I think.
It's a good interpretation of Blake's character.
Yeah, and I think Blake's a little too, I don't know, she's a little too calm about it, right? And so, okay, so this is the part, too, where things get, like...
So it's really just when I knew that this was controversial, but it really was just Blake.
I know, but, like, the Blake thing is important, though, right? Like, you know what I mean? And, like, a lot of people think that they did Blake very dirty, and I think that that's very
But this is, like, Blake controversy number 2. Here.
Okay, so Blake controversy number 1 was... okay, Blake controversy 0.5 was her outfit in the first place. Some people from the very beginning, even though they understood that, like, Blake's outfit was a manifestation of Weiss's racism, did not like the pause in the poofy boot thingy and whatever. Right? Which I was like, you know what? I think I can allow this just because this is how Nightmare Weiss dressed her. Right? It's not supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like, I sort of got that. So that was 0.5 that people immediately didn't like. But I was like, you know what? We'll let that go. This was Blake controversy number 1, I'll say. Like, the dialogue in this episode. And there was probably dialogue in previous episodes, too, that kind of rubbed people the wrong way.
They weren't that obvious. I mean, obviously, we made the joke of, like, they fixed racism in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
when we watched, like, episode 3.
And obviously, right? Like, Hunter and I, two white people, may have missed something in previous
That's
episodes.
true.
But let's just mark that, for the sake of simplicity, let's mark the outfit, like, that she had originally as 0.5, and this is number 1. It's at least number 1 in this episode, right? Okay. The second thing is, I don't know why they felt the need, okay?
To, like,
Luckily,
really...
it's been censored by Blake's tail. Because I have picked a very
And it's also
specific
really hard to see
screenshot.
it in the
And we're
thing
not
because the
gonna focus.
opacity's down.
We're not gonna focus on it too much because I don't want YouTube to come for my ass, okay?
But you
But
can, that's just
Blake's
her
entire
vagina.
blussy, as
That's
we have
like-
called it.
That's like her labia. You just see
like
it from
her
the back.
camel toe
Yeah.
is for some reason showcased in the scene with her tail. I
That's-
don't know why they decided to do this.
Because you see people do that in anime, and it always grossed me out. I was just like, I think that, like, not that I'm against sexual
Maybe it's her
contact.
ass, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. We don't need to see that. Like, why?
I don't think that's her ass.
I don't think it's her ass either. And so, basically, whether it's her ass or not, I don't think this was very
the more I look at it, the
necessary.
less it looks like human anatomy. What am I even looking at
I don't
right
know.
now?
But yeah, and
It's
so
like-
that
It's
was
like the
other thing.
behind.
I don't know why they needed to
Is
do
that
a close-up
going in-
on her ass.
Is that going in, like, between her legs to the front? No, that's not what it's doing. That's
no,
just her.
so
That's just her
I
back.
don't know why. They could have just shown her tail from the waist up, right? Because her tail's under
Because
her
I
hair.
didn't even notice
You know
the, like,
what I mean? Like,
I
they could have
didn't
just
even.
done it from here up, but instead, why did they show
The
either
blussy.
it's either her ass or it's the blussy? So that's the second thing
I mean, the
that I'm
ass would be
uncomfortable
fine.
with.
That's just whatever. Like, because you could, like,
Yeah,
focus on the
but it
tail,
doesn't
and that's
look
all
like
right.
her ass, is what I'm
It
trying
looks
to tell
like
you guys.
her.
So I don't like that. I think that that's weird. Like, that's the other weird thing, because something that, like, RWBY has stood by to a
Was
very
that
good
it
degree,
is not like
right, is not sexualizing the characters,
Yeah.
especially the minor characters, right?
Yeah.
And so, for a while, IQ seemed to be good. Oh, wait, the other Blake .5 controversy was that they gave Blake jiggle physics, but they only did it to Blake's boobs. Do you remember that?
I
In
don't
the first
remember
couple
that.
episodes, when she shoots her gun at, like, the Nevermore, when they're, like, in the relic scene,
Oh.
right, when she's with Yang. Do you remember that?
I
So
don't
that was the
remember
other,
that.
like, Blake .5 controversy.
I didn't notice
was
that. That was
the
subtle
jiggle.
enough.
No, we saw it. We
Okay.
talked about it. But yeah, so,
I feel like there's
but
levels.
this is worse.
There's levels of excusability. Like, yes, I guess reasonably your chest would shake if you were shooting.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable. It wasn't like Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, like
Right.
ridiculousness.
So with that in mind, okay, that was the second thing. I don't know why they had to do that close up.
You want to know what my headcanon is?
What?
Is that Weiss turned her into a tomcat, and
No.
those are actually her ginormous, like, cat testicles? Have
Hunter
you ever
did
watched
say
an
this, but nobody else
Have you
did.
ever watched a cat, like a cat that has not been spayed from the back? That's what it kind of looks like. I think there's a real possibility they just, like, they just made Blake a tomcat. Which, like, yeah, canon trans Blake, I'm down for that.
Oh my
But
god. I love how,
dream-
like,
someone say, like, RWBY characters will only be trans in your dreams, Hunter. My dreams and Weiss's dreams, apparently.
oh.
But
boy.
honestly, that's because she's a cat, so that's what it reminds me of. Like an unspayed male
so
cat.
Anyway, only Hunter's allowed to say that. None of the rest of you can say that. Anyway, yeah, we made a joke in the reaction or after the reaction. What did you say? She doesn't tuck? Is that what you
Oh,
said?
yeah. It's like, I'm proud of her. You know, she doesn't tuck.
Yeah.
I don't think that's it. If that is it, that's hilarious.
I don't think it is it.
I
I think
really-
it's like,
I think I'm giving them too
I
much
think
credit
it's
to
camel
make her a
toe
tomcat.
situation.
I think that, yeah, they just...
but yeah.
That, like,
It's weird. I don't like it.
I feel like I don't want to sound like a prude or that I'm against
Yeah.
sexualism. I'm not one of those people that are like, I don't think there's no
But
reason
they're
for them
also
to be a sex
minors.
scene in.
And that's kind of weird.
And that's weird, and I don't
And,
think it
like,
adds anything.
The main show never
yeah.
did that, so that's the problem I have.
It's really
like,
not trying. That's the thing. What bothers me about that really gross, like, fan is that it doesn't add anything. It's not
like
there.
fan service.
Yeah, it's not there because, like, I'm okay with sex scenes in movies. Some people don't like that. I disagree with them because I think it serves a purpose to create intimacy. But that wasn't to create intimacy. That wasn't to develop a
That
character.
was just for the viewer or something.
That was
I don't
just
know.
because, like, hey, who wants to see, like, I don't know, Blake's hoo-ha covered in, like, tight clothing. That's really it.
Yeah.
And, like, it's so when it only seemingly has the purpose, it's not even to be like, oh, she's, like, a sexy or intimidating character. That's not even who she is in that.
Yeah.
That's not really who Blake is. That's not even who she is in this episode.
So that's why I'm kind of like...
And so I'm just kind of...
That's a little...
It's just giving me really big, like, Fire Force vibes of, like, this is kind of superfluous and
also,
disinteresting.
I'm going to close the screen capture for a second because I think that we need to add something else in here that I took some screenshots of, and I can't remember if I did or not. No, I did not. Okay, so we'll just yoink those in and put those in there. Okay. There we go.
You come to Calxiyn for the professionalism and the planning.
It's okay. I mean, I had most of the screenshots. It was just 2 anyway. And so...
Is it me, or does Pura typically don't have her hair as down?
Probably. I mean, I think that's just a Weiss thing as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, and so we're not going to go through all this because this is not really all that important. Like, you know what I mean? They're just planning things. They, you know, there's the sword, like, nothing can touch the sword.
They have the realization of, like, the sword represents Jean's.
RWBY, like, Weiss said I could go anywhere because I am free. Like, I'm cringe, but I am free. Like,
I am
basically,
cringe, but I am
that's
free.
not exactly what she said, but you know what? We'll take it, right? And so, yeah, we're just gonna, like, go by all of this because it's not that serious, bro. But I think this is interesting. Like, I think these girls should fight, too, but RWBY makes a good point. Like, you know, they only turned into monsters first because of the grim and because I told them to be free, okay? I'll make more specific instructions this time. That's basically...
Imagine if she's like, fight them, and they become, like, monsters, like, violent.
You know, and so I think that now it's a bit different. They're fighting for Weiss. Like, that's good. And, like, they're so cute.
RWBY's petting them.
Yeah. I think that's cute. And so I like this. I do like this setup, right? I want Weiss to realize she wants to leave. They have enough ammo because they're on the Dust Company train. Great. I love that. And I like this. Like, RWBY's like, please let us through. And so I thought that was good. I like the Jacques monster, like, coming in to stop them.
Stopping Snowpiercer?
Yeah. But yeah, like, you know, with Weiss being in the coffin, I do understand why people thought that was, like, a debate. But, like, the whole point is that now Weiss can't sleep because there's chaos in the city again. So I don't know. I'll allow it.
Why do I feel like, you know how, like, stuff happens to you and it, like, relates to your dreams?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that, like RWBY was playing video games loud late into one night, and, like, Weiss couldn't, like, sleep with her in the room, and that, like, real life Deacon Dorm story has translated into her dream world.
Maybe. Something like that.
Also, they didn't bring up, but it was just like, I can go anywhere, so we can drive the train all the way through.
Yeah, basically.
And part of me is like, and I think I made a joke about, like, a summoning salts joke of just, like, it looks like RWBY's just speedrun the entire video game.
And so I thought that this was, like, it wasn't, like, the best fight scene, but
it was cute, though.
Weiss,
like, I like the little Weisses, like, shooting out the window.
Yeah.
I like, what's
one
that?
One of them got hit in the head, like, they're, like, dying, too.
What's that meme? It's just like, I'm not baby, I want power.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
They're not baby, they want power.
Right? But I do think that they should have brought the sword inside, because this was kind of stupid.
Go back. That's perfect meme fodder.
Yeah, like just this. Like, I won't hesitate, bitch. I'll make that
I would want, like, they tried, like, RWBY Chibi, they tried, but I feel like I just want baby Weiss.
I think so, too.
And it's just, like, I would watch a baby Weiss OVA.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that leaving the sword was kind of stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, leaving the sword just big chill in there was kind of dumb.
I mean, I guess they couldn't pull it out, like, Sword in the Stone style.
I think they could have, if RWBY and Jean both did it. Like, I don't know. I know Jean can't do it by himself. But yeah, and so again, this wasn't, like, the craziest fight scene. Like, RWBY just got, like, yeeted in the face. I mean, we've skipped some of it, too. But yeah, again, like, hope this doesn't...
Be a good girl.
Hope this doesn't awaken anything in anyone. But yeah, so here's something interesting that I'll have to show you guys in a minute, because we've used so many pictures that now we have to, like, open up the pictures again. Like, you know
so
those...
Before that, you ever hear, it was, like, a joke online someone made, where it was just like, it's been COVID for 2 years. I've not had a relationship for like 2 years. Yesterday I went to a dog park. I don't have a dog. I just wanted people to say good girl and to close my eyes and pretend it was me. That's the vibe I'm getting from this show.
But you actually see, right? Like, RWBY's nightmare stuff is still in her hand.
Yes.
So that's a little weird. You know what I mean? Like, is she still dreaming? Is she still in the dream?
I don't know.
Or like, you know,
is it like
John
very
just
Inception-y the
take
whole
it
time?
away for like a short period of time? Like, that could be very interesting, right? Like, I feel like that there's a lot of interesting things with that. But yeah, and so Blake shatters out of the sky. That's basically what happens next. I mean, Weiss is like stepping on Ruby's weapon, but it's fine. So I guess they use their coins to do this.
Yes.
And like just let the white fang in the city. Oh, these little Weisses.
I love how the Weisses are like nervous.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck is happening?
And Blake pulls in with Bumblebee.
I don't know where Yang got this cape from.
I have a feeling that,
is that
like,
John's cape from earlier?
I might have been.
One of the things that like
I have a feeling that after we saw the Blissey, it cut away and they made some kind of plan which resulted being able to convince the White Fang to join them.
I mean,
and then
I don't even think they
we
needed that much
see Blake
convincing.
controversy number 3.
Yeah, so
which
this
is her.
What striked out this episode and made people start posting on Twitter that like RWBY Ice Queendom never should have happened and that we should have gotten, I don't know, should have gotten something else instead.
Baby Weiss, Baby RWBY. You know how like there was like the Baby Muppets?
Or like Attack on Titan High School? Is that what we want?
Like elementary school?
So
I think it should be that.
Blake controversy number 3 of the day, okay? So when I saw this screen cap on Twitter,
I legitimately thought she looked like Raven, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck
Raven
is happening? I was like, what is happening in Ice Queendom that Raven is here? Like, I was so fucking confused. I was so lost. I did not realize. First of all, this is giving like Yang mommy issues because like.
Also, I feel like, do you ever just
Raven?
look at can you go back to that one? Do you ever just like look at a screenshot and think, yeah, they made that screenshot for like people's desktop background?
Yeah.
I feel like the composition between the red and the blue and them striking in the air, I think it's gorgeous.
So this is the third controversy of this episode, which is like, you know, Blake is basically pretending and like acting like a monster. That's the idea, right?
Yes.
So I'm kind of torn on this because like, on one hand, it's sort of complicated because even though Adam is the leader of the White Fang, he is also the person that abused Blake, and that was what people were having an issue with. That Blake is basically dressing like her abuser. And that's where I'm sort of like, I know Adam's the leader of the White Fang, but he's also that for Blake. And so that's why I'm like, they probably didn't consider that when dressing Blake in his clothes. Right? And so I'm kind of torn on that, but I understand why that would make people uncomfortable.
Last I checked that like Adam didn't walk around in like a bikini bottom.
Well, yeah, so that's controversy. This is what I think, how do I phrase this? This is what I think the problem that I relate to more is, because I can't really speak on should they have made her dress like Adam, or like, was there another solution? I did mention it would have been interesting if they introduced Sienna and Ilya maybe closer to the beginning of the show, put in some like Blake volume 5 character short in it or something, and then they could have had her dress like Sienna. So with the Adam thing, I'm still kind of torn on that. I completely understand why people don't like it.
I get it because she dressed up as her, but it seemingly she did it willingly, so it's not like she was hurt by that. And I feel like it has to do with the fact of like, this is how Weiss viewed the
or not even that, but on the other hand, like, this is Blake's nightmare in a way too. Like, this is what Blake sees as like the violent, bad person.
She thinks
Adam,
all faunists are like Adam Taurus.
Right.
So it would make sense that like that's
from
why
Weiss's
from Weiss's perspective.
But I'm also saying from Blake's perspective, it kind of makes sense that in her mind, the worst person in the White Fang is Adam, right?
Yeah, so I guess it makes a kind of sense.
That was where I was like, you know what? I'm not sure about this. Like, I wasn't sure. But then I saw this that they had on the website, the render. Now listen, guys. Okay, like Hunter and I said, we're not prudes. Yang has shorts.
I'm not against it.
But like, Yang has shorts that cover her thighs. This is
that's just underwear.
Bikini, like, you know,
and I guess it
territory.
just, I guess,
again,
like, that doesn't bother me.
It bothers me a little bit because I think that the thing that people have been talking about with Blake is that her first outfit, like, she's felt kind of sexualized almost compared to the other girls. Like, with the boob jiggle and the boots and the thigh highs and the little boots with the little furry things on them.
I mean, I don't think the boots are. I think that, like, that back shot of hers, that was questionable.
Yeah, but like even her earlier outfit, people didn't like. But at least that had pants. Okay, now we've got it.
I also feel like, you know, if you wanted to make it look like Adam.
Yeah. So speaking of that,
Ciro
Apollo posted this on Reddit.
Ciro Apollo.
Of this edit with Blake wearing Adam's pants.
And like, yeah, you still got like the patented Blake like tummy thing. So, but like, yeah, I think it looks more like Adam.
It looks better, in my opinion.
I do, because like the shock of white.
It looks more mature.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like it just, if you
more
have
intimidating.
to do it, it looks more intimidating, right? So like, I think that like, I can't speak on the Adam thing fully, right? About whether
or even just like make those tights go all the way up. Like make it doesn't have to be like the kind of longer, baggier pants.
But I do think that I can speak on this. I think this is a little weird, not gonna lie, because if they wanted to make her look like Adam, they would have given her pants.
Yeah.
They wanted to make her look like sexy Adam, and so they gave her underwear. And so that's kind of the problem I have with this outfit.
Do you ever just get the impression that some people's interpretation of sexy is just very limited?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, let's have them, because I feel like that in those, like, would also look aesthetically really attractive.
Yeah, like the pants.
Yeah, if someone came up to me cosplaying that, I would fall over, because it's like a gorgeous look. And I feel like just being like...
heteronormative, maybe?
I guess maybe, I dislike the phrase male gaze, because I think it's overly simplistic, but I just feel like it's like a lack of, like, nuance in what looks attractive and what looks good, because it's just her in her underwear, and it almost feels like you woke her up halfway between like dressing and you kicked her out of the door before she was like done putting on her shorts
and so that's kind of and I think that kind of hits the head on the problem. It's like, oh, like this is how you make sexy Adam, just give her like very high garter socks and underwear, like, you know what I mean? But like a lot of
Do you ever hear people talk about like that male gaze v female gaze thing?
Yeah.
Which is overseen.
I feel like this is like gay female gaze. Like we look at this and we're like, wow.
I think I don't want to get I don't want to get intense in it. I have issues with the concept of like male gaze versus female gaze, but like in a very like shallow thing. Like you can I mean like
beautiful, like
gorgeous,
strong women,
like love
pants, like I don't know. But yeah, like in a very simplistic way, I'm like, yeah, this is like, Adam notwithstanding, like, this is like...
I know, I just think it looks better, because I think the red on the legs looks better than that shock of white.
Yeah, and so...
It really looks like she didn't put on her pants in the morning.
The Adam thing aside, because everybody has their own opinions on whether it's okay for her to dress like Adam.
I think I'm okay with that.
Right? What I'm not okay with is the underwear. I don't think that they should have done that. It's not that I want them to fix it, but I'm like, but what compelled you in the first place? And I also have to wonder, like, but how involved is Ruby with the show, really?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, it's not even that, like,
because
I don't even want to be like, rah, think of the children, because I don't give a shit.
It's not about the children, it's about me. I don't want to see Blake
like,
in her underwear.
It's just like, I just feel like I look at this and I just think, like, there's a better looking version.
Yeah.
I'm not even upset for anything resulting like philosophical reasons a lot of the time. It just doesn't look that good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that
it's like
I have nothing else to
that's
say.
Like that's my first thing I get, where I'm just like, it looks really cool. I still think it looks cool. I just, because in motion you tend not to see.
Right.
Because of her long
But now
coat.
when I saw, I
thought she was wearing a skirt. That's why I thought it was Raven, because she looked like she was wearing a skirt, but it was just the tails of her long.
And so I just think that they didn't need to do this, and I think
there's
it's a
more
weird,
interesting way of doing it.
And I don't know. I guess again, it's not like that we're prudes or anything, guys, but like something that
or like lady angry on the internet.
Yeah. But something that had been said, like by Monty, was like, you'll never see the female characters sexualized. Like, I hate that shit, right? That's why all the girls have like underskirts. Like, they all have like, what do you call it? They have like crinolines to hide, like, if there's certain shots of Weiss or Ruby where technically you would be able to see their underwear. They covered that, right? Because they didn't want like that to be the thing.
And a lot of anime does that.
Yeah, and so like it just kind of feels a little strange, and like why does it only happen to Blake and like
But also like there are also plenty of sexually attractive like like attractive RWBY characters. Like I think Cinder is that.
Yeah.
Without having to like fall to these very like base kind of gross,
Sure, exactly.
pointless things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
so
that's
I'm
just
like,
kind of.
why? And so I think that what people are sort of wondering is like, but RWBY, like, are you guys not involved at all? That nobody could have said no to the Blake underwear? Because it's funny, I saw an animator on Twitter and they were like, where are her pants? Right? Obviously, that person's like an animator for 3D RWBY, so they couldn't have a say. But I'm like, but who could have a say? Like, you know?
I don't know.
Like, I don't know who, like, Carrie, I think he's production, maybe? Like, he's production something versus just, like, being a writer. So I'm like, I don't know who from Rooster Teeth is also working on IQ at the same time, but I just sort of wonder, like, how certain things could have gotten past them, or if they just let it go because they couldn't say anything to Shaft about it. Because I feel like this, and then the Blake line from earlier that we already discussed, like, those are things where I would have been like, okay, like, this is great, but can you fix it? Like, you know what I mean? In a very polite email,
Notes.
I would have given some notes on, you know? So I just sort of wonder what happened with the Blake underwear. That's all I'm trying to say.
I also have, like, I never liked, like, you know how they talk about, like, female lady armor?
Yeah.
Where it's just like a chainmail bikini.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the world of RWBY, it's like, well, people are defended
People
by
have
their
aura, right?
aura,
Yeah.
so they could fight in a bikini if they so please. And like, I love Neon Cat's style, so and that's ostensibly what she does.
Yeah. I just think it's a thing of like, if they wanted to make her look like Adam, just give her some fucking pants. Like, give her Adam's fucking pants.
But that's the thing, because it's just like you can make the same argument about Neon Cat, and it's like the difference is that I think Neon Cat looks good, and I don't think this looks good.
Yeah. I mean,
mostly, or I mean, not this looks fine.
Right,
Like I like this one, but like her
outfit.
actual look.
But yeah.
But in the show, it's hard to notice. Like, yeah, it's hard to notice there.
Yeah,
It looks like she's wearing a
That's
skirt.
because of the thing, right?
Yeah.
She looks so much like Raven. It's
So maybe what Carrie and them saw was like
just
this
that.
footage, and then they assume like, oh yeah, skirt. That's
yeah,
whatever.
then when you see it on the website, though,
And you're
it's
like,
so stark.
that's weird.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of weird. I don't think they should have done that. That's my take on the discourse.
I don't think it's awful, but it's also just like...
It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but I expect better of RWBY, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, with RWBY in particular, I've never had to be like, oh man, here's the fan service scene. Like, you know, we watched Food Wars, and I could not stand some of the... And I guess that's kind of the point with Food Wars, too. Is like the sexualization of the food, but I
made a kind of sense
it.
because they had to communicate how good the food tasted.
But I couldn't stand that personally.
What bothered me was Fire Force because like they had a story.
Fire Force was fucking annoying,
and like they couldn't help but do that to basically every single one of their characters, sans the nun. And it just didn't have a purpose.
Yeah.
It didn't add anything. It was just gratuitous and annoying.
I guess, like, again, in conclusion, like, Hunter and I don't have a problem with, you know, skimpy outfits. We don't have a problem with sex scenes.
You should see how I dress in a lot of situations.
You know, you should go read my fan fiction. Like, but the thing with Yang shorts is her shorts are shorts.
Those are like underwear. Those are like a bikini bottom.
How do I explain that? I'm sure that a lot of people can't tell some people can't tell the difference. Especially, like, no offense to some of y'all, but if you guys are guys, you probably don't understand, but there is a difference between Yang shorts. Like, I know because I have a variety of clothes that are like Yang's, and, you know.
Like, and she's also fighting. Her ass cheeks, unless there's, like, some double-sided tape in this arrangement, like, her ass cheeks are out right now.
But, yeah.
You don't get that happening when you have actual shorts.
Yang's pants are a lot longer than that.
Yes.
Like, you know... This is underwear. I don't know how to explain this to you.
It looks like she didn't put pants on in the morning.
Yeah.
That's what really, like,
and,
the very
even the
base stuff
animators
what
are
bothers
wondering,
me.
like, at Rooster Teeth where her pants went. Like, the other animators, you know? So anyway, in conclusion, please, no.
Wear pants when you leave the house.
Pants. That's my take on the Blake
Actually, if you don't want to wear... Legally, you don't have to wear pants in Canada.
Oh my god. The Adam thing, again, I think it's bordering on, like, but, like, I think the biggest offender for me is, like, how they dressed her. Like, actually dressed her, you know? But, yeah, so that's it. That's all. We made it through 3 episodes.
Honestly, I don't... And on the rank of things that bothered me, I honestly think that one Blake line bothered me the most.
Yeah,
because I felt like that was the biggest betrayal of her character. Then comes, like, that back shot,
which
is just
from
gratuitous.
1,000 cuts, right? Like, I totally understand why Blake fans are, like, upset.
I feel like it makes sense that this like outfit would be the thing that finally really bothers you.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it's the least worst thing out of those three.
Yeah, for sure. But this is just like
that Tomcat shot
the
was
straw
just like
that broke the camel's back for some people.
Just like,
but you know what was so funny? Okay, so I saw a tweet. And somebody had posted on Twitter, and they had said, I want them back, right? It was just pictures of Blake and Weiss, right? No context. They weren't shitting on IQ specifically, right? They didn't say that they were. They probably were, but like, you know what I mean? They didn't say it. All they said is, I want them back. And it was a bunch of screenshots of Blake and Weiss, okay? And so somebody replied and basically was like, LOL, that's so laughable. Like, you have to, like, Photoshop this fan fiction and, like, you know, you want the fake Weiss and Blake, the one in your imagination. And so that person replied and they were like, you know, these are from the show, right? Like, these are screenshots from the show. And the guy replied again and he was like, yeah, it's laughable that you would have to Photoshop these together. Like, you know what I mean? After, like, the OP was like, are you going to explain?
The
like,
word
what?
you mean
know
collect together?
No.
Not photo? Because you
Photoshop.
didn't collect. Okay.
Like, he said Photoshop.
Does he mean collect, though?
He said these scenes that weren't real. Like, he said it specifically. And I was like, bro, these happened in the show. It was so funny. People are so stupid. Please. If you're going to be that arrogant at someone and that aggressive, at least make sure you know what you're
I learned a very
about.
long time ago that there's like no, like don't be aggressive to people over Twitter. Nothing good happens from it.
But I'm just saying, like, it's okay to be wrong, but like he was like, that's so laughable that you would have to Photoshop these scenes together and call them the real Blake and Weiss. And I'm like, but those happened in the show. And so yeah, that's my that was my favorite scenario that happened like inadvertently because of this discourse was that interaction because that was so stupid. It was just so funny. I
think here's a nice thing I'll say about Blake's new design is that right now in this shot it looks dope, and I like how her new swords look, how they're red and black and jagged. I like her like footy heels that have little claws on it.
Yeah.
I like that it looks like her swords have chains on it, like she's Kratos from God of War.
I think it's interesting that she looks like Raven. But, I mean, I think that's just because Adam also looks like Raven. Like, people thought for the longest time that Adam was like Raven's prodigy. Right? And so that's the other reason why I think that they basically should have introduced Sienna in, like, you know, a little bit, like, have Sienna be on the news or something, and then have her dress like Sienna, because this wouldn't be as much of a problem. I guess Sienna wears red, too, but she looks so much like Raven.
That's true.
That's gonna be in Yang's nightmares.
And I think she also wears pants.
Yes, exactly. Raven also... Does Raven have pants? I think Raven has shorts. She has shorts and then leggings. She has but shorts, not underwear.
She has shorts and these weird like pant leggings.
Yeah,
and, like,
that are like detached from each other.
And like a skirt that opens up in the front.
Yeah, so like again, I wonder, you know, it would be funny if they fixed this for the English dub release. If they give Blake pants for the English dub. That's happened before,
yeah,
hasn't
they have
it?
edited.
I think that'd be really funny. But yeah, that's
I don't know if I'm not that upset about it.
At the end of the day, I just think it would be funny.
I just think it's humorous because it looks like she's not dressed.
Yeah, I think that it would be interesting if they fixed this in time for DVD Blu-ray release. But yeah, guys, that is it from us. Hunter and I and our microphone that keeps cutting out are going to head out now. I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. Remember those things that I talked about at the beginning? Patreon will have our reactions eventually. Probably won't be today. It is 5 o'clock. Probably will be tomorrow. The reactions will be up.
Yes.
Ko-fi, we are now taking video commissions. If you want us to react to Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or something, I don't know. Like things that we've clearly never seen before.
I've seen Lord of the Rings.
That I've never seen before.
You have not seen Lord of the Rings.
And I've not seen Harry Potter or Twilight.
I've seen Harry Potter.
No.
You've seen the movies.
I've only seen one movie.
I've watched more of them. I've watched the movies with you.
No. We only saw one.
Didn't we watch more than one?
No, it was not me. It may have been with your... It may have been...
No, because I've never watched a Harry Potter movie with my current partner.
I did not.
It was definitely... Anyways.
It was not me.
Oh my god. You have the memory of a goldfish, I swear to god.
It definitely was. The last one I remember was when they had the Triwizard Tournament, and that's all I remember. But I was like little, I think. But anyway. Video commissions.
This occurred in high school, which is why you don't remember it.
Maybe, but we'll see. Anyway, I could probably react to them again, just like they're brand new.
You probably could.
We'd have no problem. And I never saw the ending either.
That's
never
true.
watched the end, so, you know,
That is
that's the
true.
important part. Anyway, point is, video commissions, now on Ko-fi. That's